What's going on, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional evening. Alrighty. Always get nice and dry mouth, cotton mouth, dehydrated before I go live, but it's all good in the neighborhood as it should be. All right, so it's been a lot of videos I've been watching lately, and usually at the end of the day, I don't usually shout out other people's content like that on when I go live, just because I try to keep it based towards what I do. But one guy I got to shout out that I found his content lately, and I find it to be very, very interesting. It's called The Large Man Abroad. This is a guy who was in the Marine Corps. He lived abroad as a Marine and lived abroad just as a regular civilian, everyday American. And he, his content is resonating with a lot of people because it just talks about the current state of the world and the U.S. economy, and how, America is not the country that he remembers it being growing up. I mean, it's not the country I remember growing up. And when he says that, it's not from a racial perspective, it's not from a religious perspective, it's not from a political perspective, it's just from a people perspective. And that people perspective really goes in depth in regards to, how most people in most neighborhoods, they're not communities, they're mostly neighborhoods we have, no matter what state or city you live in, because most people don't know each other. People kind of have a freeze mindset. People are so busy trying to work to make ends meet and survive that they don't even have time to thrive, and the only time that they do have, they usually just utilize that time to get drunk and get high and binge out on things that have nothing to do with their reality, because they're just constantly stuck in the grind, constantly stuck in the rat race. And ever since I've had to go back to work full time lately due to certain reasons, the rat race is a mother sucker. I won't cuss, but it's a mother sucker, because constantly having accounts, you feel like you don't have enough time to breathe. So then when you get enough time to relax, do what you got to do, all you want to do is just zone out and watch a movie, a TV show, do something whatever that's mindless, because you feel like you don't have enough time for yourself. And Lord forbid, but if you have kids, you got to make out time for them. And then you just see people walking around like a constant zombie, because there's just no time for you. There's no time for your family. There's just not enough time for anything that truly matters. And the whole work-life balance thing has gone out of the window. The one thing that the large man abroad was saying, and I think he lives in Kentucky or West Virginia right now. And honestly, check out his content. He makes all his content, it seems like it's first thing in the morning before he goes to work, or maybe he makes the content out when he gets his day going on his day off, and he's just drinking coffee in his car, in his driveway, and he's just giving his perspective out on certain things. But when he was really talking about today's job market, because we see jobs being cut all over the place, whether it's public or the private sector, and then how hard it is for people to get a decent job. And then if they do, and when he says, when people usually say decent job, people are talking about, hey, a job with benefits. People are saying, hey, a job with a decent, when I say benefits, I'm talking about medical benefits, some sort of, time off. Most people just get PTO, paid time off. They don't even get annual leave and sick leave like you do as a government person. And that's why certain people out there don't like government workers, because they think that they're lazy because they're able to take a day off and get paid for when they're sick, as opposed to somebody who has a job where if they don't work, they don't get paid. And sometimes it's a crazy human thing, but sometimes people don't have the physical capacity to actually go to work because they are suffering from the flu, or a family member had a situation, and the idea of somebody hating on somebody being able to get paid to take time off, for a lot of people nowadays, it's just constantly people hating on each other because of that. But then the idea of one actually, being at a job for 5 to 10 years nowadays is becoming a thing of the past. Because it used to be a thing where somebody had a good job, they would stay at that job. When I say good job, I'm talking about a job that pays well. Opportunity for promotions are always there. Great medical benefits, life insurance benefits, 401k benefits, i.e. pension or pension plan benefits. tuition reimbursement benefits, those things of that nature. An environment for somebody to grow, not just an environment for somebody to just have a regular job, like to just to where they can never just work in a regular job, like to work in an old school factory where no chances of advancement. Because even if the old school quote unquote factories in America, the chance of advancement was usually one becoming a manager or foreman, a person working in the corporate office, or a person that actually got they were helping create products from on a specific assembly line. But then there'd be certain capacities at the factory where a person was actually a blue collar job, a blue collar worker. So they were a maintenance person where they would fix the certain machines that would end up having certain mechanical issues, or if the machines just completely shut down. Person became a plumber, electrician, carpenter. So this goes on and on. So they got a skilled trade. It's not a career if it's an environment where your pay remains the same, and you're not gaining skill sets to help you advance in your career. Because if you can advance in your career, then you can help the company advance. Therefore, the company can make more money. But that's not really the case anymore, because you have, whether it's blue collar workers or white collar workers, they're like, hey, I'm going to get what I can get from here, and then I'm going to move on. It's always that constant grind of moving on to the next level, to not only advance yourself from a skill perspective, but to advance yourself from a pay perspective. A lot of times it's been like this probably for the last 20 years, specifically in corporate America. If one wants to get paid more, they have to go jump ship and they have to move on to another corporation or another mom and pop business, because they see that they've hit the ceiling. It's becoming easier and easier for people to hit a ceiling at a job nowadays than it is for them to than it is for them to just get a raise. And when I say hit the ceiling, meaning they can't get promoted, chances of them getting paid more are close to zero. So therefore, they're like, what am I doing here? I'm just become a cog in the system. And usually people would say that with somebody working as a government employee, but now it's become that way at certain corporations all at the same time. And then the question is, do jobs and people even mix anymore? Well, we are in the age of robotics. We're in the age of AI, automation, intelligence. You see data centers being built everywhere, because, having a data facility is just as important as having a warehouse Amazon facility. The storage of products is just as important as the storage of data, in today's world, because we're in 2025. We're in a data-driven society. Data-driven government agencies, data-driven corporations are the new innovators of the United States of America. So with that being said, it's like, do people and jobs mix? Well, you have entities that are trying to take people's livelihood away, and they're doing a good job of that. Replacing people with more and more technology, so you have less and less bodies to depend on. So therefore, the entities save more money and make more money and do whatever they want to do. Once that happens, or once that will happen, it's all about perspective, and it's all how you look at it. And then, of course, you just have, once again, since the pandemic, most working people got a taste of what life could be like if I didn't have to get up and go jump on get in my car, sit in traffic, and go to a place that I don't want to be to. I mean, really be at. People got a taste of that, and people loved it. Okay, and then a lot of people got a taste of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So they said, take this job and shove it. I don't want to work here anymore, because I want to live a lifestyle that I don't want to have to take a vacation from. I don't want to escape to a life that I know that I deserve. And I've done many videos in regards to people showing the lifestyle that they truly, truly want to live, but their employer could care less about the lifestyle that they want to live. So therefore, they're like, well, have a nice life. That's my favorite saying, have a nice life. Or as they say in Spanish, tenga una buena vida. All right. So this article that was interesting says, former teacher says she made nearly $1 million from OnlyFans in less than 6 months. Now, whether you like OnlyFans or not, it's irrelevant. Now, this article was back in November 2023, but this teacher, she taught at St. Clair High School. Her name is Brianna Capage, and her OnlyFans took her to the next level. And this was in the state of Missouri, state that I used to have family in, state that my mother despises, but I don't have any hate for Missouri. Only been there twice in my life, but she made nearly $1 million on the platform since she joined it over the summer of 2023. And she revealed this to Fox News. It was a staggering amount of money she has made from making adult content. She had been a teacher for 5 years, spending the last 2 years at St. Clair High School as an English teacher. And I guess she was teaching people proper English and grammar on OnlyFans. But anyways, before resigning after her OnlyFans page was discovered by school administrators, and she was put on leave. She noted that her annual teaching salary was $42,000, and she originally started OnlyFans to help pay off her student loans. Isn't that ironic? And even when I saw this title, I said, I guarantee she did this to pay off the student loans. And it's nothing against teachers. God bless the teachers of the United States of America, but teachers usually don't get paid crap. And because the requirement is to always have a college degree, majority of the teachers are up to their ears in student loan debt, and they're barely scraping by. Heck, a lot of people in their jobs are at a point where they're barely scraping by. So the incentive to stay, to be in a profession that they majored in is becoming a staggering thing. So word to the wise to any youth that are watching this: if you are going to go to college, please have a plan of ensuring that the career you are going into pays, or at least have a side hustle or some side skill, a skill that you can utilize outside of your career field, just to ensure that you are protected. Or if you want to be an entrepreneur, even in those situations, you have to have something that's as a backup plan, because in today and tomorrow's economy, you just never know, regardless who's in the White House, governor's house, or mayor's house. Excuse me. All right. So Missouri is one of the lowest states in the nation for teacher pay. So basically, teachers in Missouri are the lowest paid compared to other states around the United States of America. The district that she was working in is also one of the lowest paying districts in the state of Missouri. She stated, and I quote, "I feel like times are tough. I have student loans. I have multiple degrees in education, and it would be helpful for extra money." Her teaching salary she would have had to work 24 years to make the same amount of money she has made on OnlyFans in less than 6 months. So with 24 years, 6 months, you do the math. She says she now has tens of thousands of subscribers on OnlyFans and has far exceeded her teaching salary for the year. She also has paid off all her student debt. So even though she resigned as being a teacher, she doesn't have student loan debt, and that's a very nice burden to have off of her. So therefore, her quality of life is financially, for the most part, is going to go up. She says, "I've been able to pay off my student loans, car loans, credit card debt. I have no debt now, and that's really freeing." So she gave up her career and did something different, and she has no debt. And when you trust me, especially in today's world, the people that don't have car debts, people that don't have student loan debts, people that don't have credit card debts, they're doing very well, and we're dealing with inflation right now. Trust and believe that, family. All right. And although her OnlyFans account posts sexually explicit content, she said she avoided showing her face because of her job as a teacher, which is very smart. I'm sure a lot of people do that. She says her OnlyFans content was originally discovered by the St. Clair district after a link to the page was posted in the St. Clair Facebook group. Wow. On the page, it gained so much attention in the community and even across the country. She said she knew she couldn't go back to the classroom and decided to resign, which I think that was an honorable thing to do. She said her content was never advertised as a high school students, but adults in the community continue to bring it up as a subject. She says, "I'm not advertising it to the students, but adults in the community continue to do so." Because, everybody's such a freaking, goody two-shoes in that community. She says, "I just don't think that's okay. Students were never meant to see this. I know people are saying you taught high school. They were bound to find out at some point." She says, "Maybe I was faceless. I do not use my real name. It is what it is at this point." She said she will miss her students, and she has grieved her career as a teacher. She doesn't have any regrets. And I get that. And her quality of life has probably gone up, tremendously. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. If your quality, you can have all the degrees in the world. You can make, I'm from the DMV area, where people have all the degrees in the world, have all the experiences in the world, make all this freaking money, and they're the most boringest, basic people that you will ever meet in your freaking life. And some of the times, most miserable people that you ever meet in your life. And the only time they feel good about themselves is when they're bragging about crap. But yet and still, if you see them at work, they're gonna be bored. They're gonna be miserable and bored out of their freaking mind. Or the ones that I love that only talk, their heyday is when they were in their 20s, and anything they got going on now, they got no drive. They got nothing going on except looking forward to watching the sports game and playing video games. It is what it is. I just call it like I see it. But anyways, she said teachers held at the high school standard. She wants to see them paid accordingly. She also told Fox News she strongly believes that people are allowed to have personal lives outside of their careers. once again, it's all about quality of life and what works for you. Everybody's idea of quality of life is very different. But my mindset is you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day to make moves. All right. If you're watching right now, do the great 3 things: like, share, and subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated. All right. But yeah, anyways, at the end of the day, with that situation, you're gonna have that happen more and more because, hey, let's admit it, most people are on social media because they're trying to make money. You know, if you go to most people, they get enough following. You see the subscribe button, you see the button, you know, the super chat button, hit my Cash App, you know, buy gifts, etc. and so forth. And I'm not mad at it because, you know, cost of living is outrageous, and most regular working people should be spending their time on trying to get access to money, buy assets, and put money away, because you never know what's going to happen on a rainy day. I mean, even myself, and like I said, this month and next month, I'm going all out of my way to make more money, save more money, invest more money, and pay down as much debt as possible, because you just never know, especially in today's world. You just never know the way things might end up going. You know, and I always say, don't let people hate on your grind. Get out there and shine, because that's what you were meant to do. But people and jobs, do they mix in 2025? And for people that are even trying to get a job, because I remember one congressperson, because a lot of the Congress people are, you know, having their constituents, probably most of their constituents who voted for them are like, hey, you know, we're losing jobs here. What are we supposed to do? And their only solution is, well, you'll be able to get another job. And it's just like, yeah, because getting a job in today's world is so much more easier. And don't take it from me. You know, the youth, one thing that the youth, and I say the youth, I'm talking about people in their 20s and late teens, they put stuff out there on social media, and they talk about they could put 500 applications out there, and if they're lucky, they might get 3 returns, phone calls or emails, in regards to trying to get a new job or get a job, period, because it's so rough out there. Now, a lot of times, because let's be real, let's be clear about one thing. A lot of times when people talk about the upside of being in the military, being part of a fraternity and a sorority, and the upside of going to college is getting the network. That's the main thing. A lot of the stuff that people learn while they're in grade school nowadays, or even learn in the military, one can learn that online, one can learn that from their significant other, a parent, a family member, etc. and so forth. But one thing that they cannot do is network. You know, and because in order for anybody to even take their lives and themselves to the next level, it's not about how much you know. It's not even how much money you have. It's about who you know. You know, this old saying, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Okay. Whether you love most of our billionaires and millionaires in America right now, I'm not going to say any names, but majority of these people, it's not because they were smart, it's just because they had access to the right people and they had access to capital. My favorite program to watch is EYL University, and Rashad said something about the Trump administration. Whether you like Trump or not, it's irrelevant. He said something about the Trump administration during his first month, and he's like, okay, I'm seeing Gulf of Mexico turning into the Gulf of America. I'm seeing all these beautiful slogans. Okay, great. When are we going to get to the money? And when he says, when are we going to get to the money, he's talking about when are we going to get to access to capital, all right, for entrepreneurs and investors. When are we going to get to real training programs so that people can not only create the jobs of tomorrow, but can actually do the jobs of tomorrow? When are we going to get to talking about those things that actually matter? We won't, because everything has to be a great distraction and keep people fighting with each other and keep people as ignorant as possible. You know, like that's where we're at with a lot of things. And it's just like, you know, hey, I always say, don't do Democrats and Republicans, do checkings and savings. If it makes dollars, it makes sense, you know. But that's the question. Because at the end of the day, and I call this person out because I don't like him, never did anyways. I even read his book. Elon Musk didn't get to where he was at because he had a bunch of degrees. Elon Musk got to where he was at because he had access to capital. Elon Musk ain't nothing but a government contractor at the end of the day. He's like a freaking Khaki, a Northrop Grumman, and a Boeing. Is there anything wrong with those corporations I just mentioned? Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, this man has made a lot of money off of getting access to government funding, access, you know, the big bad government that he wants to slash into 2 pieces, government funding and government contracting. Okay, because that's the innovation of America, is government giving capital to the corporations creating a product and a service that takes America to the next level, or takes different countries to the next level. All these big government defense contracting companies that are in the DMV area, that's how the game is going. Hey, we got the product and the service that you want. You give us the money. We will give you the product and the service. We'll create the product and we'll create the service. And that's all Elon Musk is. But he had access to capital and he had the right network. And that's where the school system is broken, because they won't tell you that. They keep telling you that hard work makes you rich. No, access to capital and the right networking makes a person rich. Period. You can't name one millionaire or billionaire out there that did not have access to the right people and access to the right capital. That's why the title is Do Jobs and People Mix Anymore? They do for survival purposes, but are they ever going to make you rich? No. Your program manager. That's why I can't stand snooty people at any job that thinks they're above somebody because they might get paid more than them. But yet still, you got to come to the same building like I do. You're not that special. The only place you're special is in your freaking mind. And that's at any job you ever work at. So remember that. And to my younger people, if you're watching, don't ever let nobody make you feel like you're lower than you are if you're working at any job. Because if they're working at that same job, that means that nobody's special either. And I just leave it at that. And if they're a customer that's coming to that job, if they really had it like that, they wouldn't be coming to your job. They'd have somebody else coming for them. But I digress. Like I said, if you're watching, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Now, here's an article that came out last year, January of last year. United States workers are getting scooped up by international companies hiring remote roles. Now, this is, in a sense, what one would call, what they call insourcing, outsourcing jobs. This is another way of jobs being outsourced. Because if your greatest workers who want to live the life, I've seen a lot of the videos. Every now and then I would like to get the perspective of workers that don't work in the same industry I work in. And at the end of the day, you had a lot of workers who took a pay cut because they wanted to be able to work remotely at 100%. And this is just in the private sector. And when their job told them they had to come back after the pandemic was quote unquote over, they was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. Specifically, like in places like New York and California. Like this one guy who was, I forgot I know it's IT related, but he was like, he and his wife love living in a van. They love being able to drive to different remote locations. They did not want to live a basic, boring lifestyle, just living in one apartment or home and going to an office every day. The idea of it, he's like, it sickens him. And majority of the people that were in the video ended up getting jobs with international companies that were not based out of the United States of America. All right, so the article says, it's getting harder to find a remote job in the United States of America, but you might have better luck working from home for a company based abroad. The number of American workers hired by international companies grew up to 62% in 2023, according to the State of Global Hiring report from Deal, an HR platform that specializes in global hiring. The report is based on 300,000 contracts between Deal customers and workers from both contractors and full-time employees, and roughly 85% of those contracts are for remote positions. American workers are most likely to be hired by companies in the United Kingdom, Canada, France, Singapore, and Australia. The spike in United States workers varying from trying to get remote jobs headquarters overseas feels correlated with the elimination of remote roles stateside, says Deal CEO Alex Boasi. Probably butchered his name. He knows from experience people are quitting jobs with return in office requirements to be remote. A couple of our competitors, he stated, did that, and we hired their best people. So I welcome them to keep doing it. Workers with unique in-demand skills being hired internationally. And before I even go forward, it's just like, because you have to remember, the world is more global than it ever has been, thanks to people traveling more abroad and thanks to social media and the internet. You know, people want to look outside of the box. People are tired of this old narrative. If you leave your home country, and it's not just the United States of America, it's all these other places, that it's going to be the worst thing ever. I always say it's never talked about enough how many Americans actually do live in Canada, Australia, the UK, parts of Africa. You have a lot of Americans who even live in Mexico and Panama, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Bad Bunny is trying to promote Puerto Rico and saying don't turn Puerto Rico into Hawaii, because Hawaii is basically you're either rich or you're poor. There's homeless camps everywhere. He doesn't want that to happen in his home island of Puerto Rico. You know, because Puerto Rico is very appetizing to live because of obviously the beautiful climate, island life. But if you tackle on the fact that you don't get taxed the same either, even though it's a U.S. territory, but it's not a U.S. state. So I believe you can own a house outright in Puerto Rico and not have to pay personal property taxes. So these are things to take into consideration. Okay. And this is not an anti-U.S. video. This is not an anti-anybody video. This is a pro-lifestyle video. What is your lifestyle that you're looking to have? What is the lifestyle you're looking to work for? You got to look out. You just have to look outside the box and stop getting so emotional with the Fox News and CNN BS talking points. Because that's nothing. At the end of the day, that's really nothing but propaganda, in my personal opinion. But I leave it at that. Just think out. My mindset is, hey, do what's best for you. Do what's best for your family if you have one. All right. Global employers want to tap into the United States talent market because it's so large and has produced some of the most influential companies in the world, the CEO stated. International bosses want to leverage more U.S. talent to bring some of that culture that leads to the biggest enterprises in the world to their home country. So bear in mind, if an American's making six figures and he's living in Panama, he's doing very well. I remember seeing that one of the passport bros is a guy working for one of these international companies, and he lives in Colombia. He's doing very well. He's saving money on taxes, number one, and he's saving a lot more money on the cost of living. So he's able to put more money away and able to invest more money. And as he put it, not me, as he put it, I have a lifestyle that I don't have to take a vacation for, so therefore I'm spending less money on traveling. And number two, I have a lifestyle that it allows me to save more money, invest more money, so that one day that my job turns into an option. Because a job stands for just over broke if you don't know how to make money in your sleep. A job stands for just over broke if it's your only option. Am I job shaming anybody? Absolutely not. I'm just putting things into perspective. Ask the hundreds of thousands of government workers who got laid off for just being an employee of an entity, what that looks like, for just logging into work and saying you no longer have a job anymore. Not because of you were a bad employee, just because of some political nonsense. I just got to keep it real when I say that, you know. Same thing to the people who work at corporations, and, you know, if you live in a right to work state, they don't have to have a reason to get rid of you. So, hey, next thing you know, you get because nowadays people get told that they're fired or been laid off via text message or email or voicemail. You know, back in the day, you had to go into an office and they'd sit down and hand you a letter. These are just things you got to put into perspective, family. All right. These are just things you got to put into perspective. Now, article ended on this note saying the upside and downsides. Working remotely for an international company isn't as straightforward as simply working from home. Aside from figuring out taxes and other HR compliance issues, the CEO, Bo Aziz, says it's important to consider differences in time zones. California working for a company based in Europe may have to adjust their early hours. A lot of rides on how the company's distributed workforce is set up. Are you the only American employed at the company abroad, or are you part of a larger group stateside? Do you work from home, or will you go into a satellite office? Does your whole team work the same hours, or do you overlap for a part of the day and rely on asynchronous work for the other? You know, then gets into talking about cultures, time off, things of that nature. So nothing's 100% great. You got to work these things out because, once again, everybody's idea of work-life balance is very different. I remember people complaining during the pandemic that they wanted to go back to work because they were bored or because of their significant other didn't want to have them around. That's why the divorce rate went up tremendously during the pandemic, because people got tired of being around. Work was keeping their marriage together, which is sad to say. The 8 to 10 hour days they spent apart from each other was helping keep their relationship together. But the 8 to 10, the 24 hours that they spent together was like, yeah, I don't really like this woman. I don't really like this man. And we need to part ways. Okay. So I just leave it at that, but at the end of the day, it's all about what you want. I think people in jobs, in my personal opinion, I think people in jobs do mix. I just think that everybody's idea of how they mix in today's world of 2025 is very, very different. And this is all about perspective and what you want to do. Excuse me. I can't really put it any other way, family. But anyways. All right. So let's check this. All right, cool. So this article came out, says, here's why you can't survive living on a single income. This is about back in October 2023. The cost of living is spiraling out of control. Essential goods and services we need, from gasoline to groceries, are getting more expensive every day. And it is. And with these tariffs, things get, the cost of everything can get blown out of proportion more. And with inflation and tariffs and things of that nature, and I know with the tariff things, it goes up and down like the stock market. It flip-flops more than a politician, so it's not 100% implemented yet. But if and when it does, one has to put things into perspective and say to themselves, okay, can I afford, from the cost of the goods and services that I utilize, can I afford for that to go up? Do I have even enough access to credit, aka access to credit cards, in order for me to thrive in that kind of environment? Do I have the kind of credit cards that offers points and cashback rewards? Only you can answer those questions. I can't. And I'm glad during the pandemic, I got myself more credit cards for those specific reasons, because, hey, if I'm going to have to end up spending more money on things, I should be able to get points, and I should be able to get cashback rewards, and I should be able to get airline miles, in order for me, because I like to travel a lot, in order for me to still live the quote unquote lifestyle that I want. These are just things to to think about, in a sense, because at the end of the day, investments, income, assets, it all matters. Can't really put it any other way. All right, last but not least, in the article that I found, fears of not having enough money are pushing more people to take on side jobs. And that's why you have more Uber drivers than ever. You have more Grubhub and Uber Eats drivers and DoorDash drivers nowadays, with Instacart drivers, Amazon Fresh drivers, because somebody needs some sort of a side hustle. And then you just have people that will just, go out less, spend less money on the frivolous things. And that's why the U.S. economy, that's another reason why the U.S. economy is hurting even more so. So I know that there's been boycotts that have been happening with Amazon and Target, et cetera, and so forth. And that's really the only way you ever catch a corporation's attention, is by hurting somebody's financial pockets. You can protest, you can scream till the cows come home, but the only way you really catch a corporation's attention, because, shout out to the Black History Month, that's how Black America caught people's attention, by boycotting the goods and services and whatnot. They had to bankrupt cities, and they had to almost make companies go out of business, because they're like, hey, we just won't shop where we can't get hired. We won't shop where we aren't treated fairly. We won't deposit money in the banks that won't issue us loans. It's like, these are the things that matter, because I always say, who you spend your money with and who you bank with holds way more power than who you vote for. Think on that. Why do you think the distraction of other things always take place? But when it comes to the money, aka how you get it, where you put it, isn't discussed enough, because then that takes you out of the mind of the Fox News and CNN BS. That's just my personal opinion on that. But anyways, it says 87% have had to pick up at least one side job within the past 6 months, according to the survey done by, and that's of people, survey done by Resume Now. It says, does your lifestyle demand a higher income? If you live in America, the answer to that is quickly yes. 3/4, 75% of Gen Z cannot pay their bills on time. Because I'm millennial. Gen Z is right after me. In New York City specifically, 50% of residents do not have enough money to rent an apartment. According to and that's half the population. I'm sure it's more than that, especially now. According to the BLS in 2021, 76.1 million American workers, 58.8% of total workforce were paid hourly, which we know makes it a struggle to earn a living wage. Overall, nearly 2/3 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans in 2025 cannot afford $1,000 to $3,000 bill right now, $1,000 to $3,000 to pay for an emergency, i.e., specifically, and that's usually that's usually between $300 and $3,000. That's usually what a bill is for when one has a car issue. Think on that. Or when one has a house issue. Think on that. Because they've even said that, hey, it's so bad financially that a lot of people are not even paying to remodel their homes because they can't afford to. Think on that. All right. So if so, you probably resonate with 58% who experience financial stressors in order to move closer towards financial security. You may find avenues to create secondary income source. The third or fourth one may be necessary to. The majority of 87% of people polled have had to pick up at least one side job within the past 6 months, according to a survey by Resume Now. All right, better financial well-being greatly influences an overall well-being, including mood, job satisfaction, family relationships, says Heather O'Neill, career expert at Resume Now. And that's why I believe, my personal opinion, for like probably the last year, 2 years, no matter where you go, I've seen more people in a crappier mood. Relationships with family and friends are just not as good as they used to be, and more people are stressed and worried and whatnot, and trying to script every single penny because they're just trying to survive. They don't even have time to try to thrive. Like, heck, Dollar General and Dollar Tree stock has definitely gone up because I frequent these places, and they're always crowded and always out of stuff because more people are trying to see what they can get for under $5 to $1 because everything is, things are so expensive right now, especially with rents have gone up, people's mortgages have gone up, i.e. insurance and personal property taxes have gone up. That's why the only brilliant idea that dumb governor in the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has is like, hey, he's going to propose that they get rid of the personal property taxes for homes. But my personal opinion is that the state of Florida, because they don't have an income state tax, they will go into default and possibly have to declare bankruptcy like the state of Nebraska, because this is a state that does not generate money they usually generate their money from sales taxes, they generate their money from insurance taxes, and they generate their money. And most likely, my personal opinion, they'll probably just raise the insurance taxes if they got rid of the personal property taxes, because insurance is pretty high anyways in the state of Florida, especially if you can even get flood insurance, and they might even put a personal property tax on a vehicle. They'll try to make up the difference someplace else so that they do not go into economic decline, like when the state of Louisiana did it when Bobby Jindal was the governor of the state of Louisiana, because he egregiously cut taxes to the point where the state's budget just was obliterated. So, as I said, I'm all for lower taxes and fair taxes, but you got to be smart about it, because like anything else, if you cut spending to the point where it's invisible, then you have no money. It is what it is. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I mean, that's a bill I think that would hurt Florida, especially, and he's probably trying to do that because a lot of regular working people have had to leave Florida because of remote jobs and say, hey, you either got to come home or we're going to cut your pay. So people went back to California, New York, or Washington, D.C. And then a lot of people just, remember, when Florida comes to jobs, they don't have the best job market in the South. Like, Texas has a way better job market than the state of Florida. It's easier for one to get a better paying job in the state of Texas than it is in the state of Florida, because the state of Texas is not a tourist state. The state of Florida is a tourist state. Keep that in mind. All right. Everybody goes to Florida for one thing: to drink and to go to the beaches. That's what it is. That's why the city of Miami is basically like, it's the New York of the South right now. It's for the well-to-do. There is no middle class in Miami anymore. All right. So it is what it is. So at the end of the day, I think I got my perspective out there. Let me know what yours. Do you think jobs and people mix in the year of 2025 moving forward? Let me know in the comment section. If you haven't done so, do the great thing for things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great night. This was an interesting conversation, but not conversation, it's an interesting topic. And I'll probably be having more of these conversations, talk about these topics even more so in the future, just because I know that things are going to get harder before they get better in the year 2025. And usually I would never say that, but I'm saying that this year because of certain things that are being implemented now. And it has nothing to do about left and right. It has nothing to do with green or blue. The only color that's ever mattered in the United States of America is the color green, because remember, America was a corporation before it was an actual nation. So it's all about profits, profiteers, assets, capital, money, etc., and so forth. You name it, that's what it's about. That's why I say make money moves, or you're gonna live, bro, like a fool, because that's the times we're living in right now. So, all right. On that note, family, I'm out. Hope you guys have a great. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot, to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another, and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.
Mike, now.